Hey, also first take video here for today. Today we had our first official mentor session for the residency, also the first full week. So this week's reflection is going to be fun. But basically for the mentor session, what we do is there's a 2-hour block in our day that we have with one of our clinic mentors. So there's 2 primary lead mentors, and then there's other mentors that kind of circle in and out based on specialties within diagnoses and things like that. So last night, the night before, we had to fill out a prep form, so kind of like a quick synopsis about the patient that we're going to see, what our clinical question is for them, what body structure function impairments or activity impairments we might want to be addressing with treatment, come up with 3 possible treatment interventions, find evidence for those interventions, and then basically kind of write out what we think our treatment session might look like and provide our rationale for why we're doing it, and then at the end kind of provide another rationale for the session for neuroplasticity principles, motor learning principles, and other principles of neurologic rehab for that particular diagnosis. And then there's a couple other questions that we have to fill out. So it's a couple pages of forms to fill out, and then we send that to the mentor for that session for that day. The night before, we spend a half hour before we go in to see the patient going over that form, kind of talking through it so they can get an idea of our clinical reasoning, and they can kind of ask some reflective questioning. Then we go in and see the patient, and it's basically like we go in and kind of just do our thing, but then they might have us pause and ask us a reflective question, or they might say, hey, what you're doing is working really well, but how could it work better? Or what you're doing is not working really well, or it's not working at all. How can you change it? What might you do better? Or why are you doing that? That's good, but I want to know why you're doing it. And then so the treatment sessions are a little longer, especially compared to traditional sessions in acute care. So today's treatment session was 55 minutes. And then afterwards we talk about the session, kind of have a reflection period with the mentor for a half hour. So it's a solid 2-hour chunk. And then they kind of send us feedback, and then we have to afterwards write some type of reflection or something similar to that. And today it was really fun. It was my first patient with a stroke, and it was a watershed infarct, so nothing too super involved or anything like that. More of a medically complex patient than a neurologically complex patient, but it was still a good session. I really enjoyed being able to get a lot of reflective questioning out of the mentor, and for example, we were working on sit-to-stands, and something I was doing wasn't quite working how I wanted it to, and she kind of just asked me a question, and I thought about it, and then I backed up for a second, and I kind of paused, and I was like, wait, that answer wasn't right. I think this is the right answer, and I think this is going to work. And then I went and did it, and it worked. And I really like that because it allows me to have another set of eyes kind of watch what I'm doing, and they can give good feedback and constructive feedback, and also feedback on things that I'm doing well, to help me improve and change practice. Because if you don't know what you're doing wrong or what you need to work on, you're never going to work on those things or improve until you realize that you're not doing them well yourself. And the last question on the form that I filled out last night was about kind of how do I feel about where I am, where I'm going, where I'm at. And I put on there that I feel like I'm floating in the ocean, treading water, and I have no idea what direction I'm going. And I think, I explained to my mentor today, that I think 75% of that's because I'm a new grad in a new setting, and then I think 25% of that is because I'm in the residency. And having these mentor sessions kind of helps me gauge what direction I might be floating in, whether it's kind of a good direction, or hey, I need to work on this a little bit more direction. And just kind of find my way. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot of my third clinical, where I got tons of feedback. I like verbal feedback and the written feedback, so super excited about continuing the mentor sessions. They're going to be twice a week for every week from now on out for the rest of the residency. So excited to be able to keep learning from expert clinicians and be able to kind of mold my own practice. So that's today's first take video on the first mentor session. Thanks for watching.